All right, if you just joined us, this is still Enterprise Morning on Enterprise TV, and now to in conversation for this morning, which is a subject already on the lips of many a Nigerian.
That's absolutely correct because the embattled chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Abure, has faulted the picketing of the party's secretariat by the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC), saying it amounted to an abuse of power. The NLC leadership had accused Abure of planning to hold an illegal convention. This, they said, was to perpetrate his rule or to alternatively appoint cronies to act on his behalf. He also said that the NLC's action was a show of rascality, insisting it was politically motivated ahead of the party's national convention.
Now, the Labour Party chairman further advised the NLC to focus on playing the critical role of negotiating a better working condition and welfare for the average Nigerian worker. But whether this is best time for a crisis of this kind is a development that clearly works in favor of whoever is seeking the downfall of the Labour Party.
Well, joining us now in the studio for this conversation is Barrister Evans Ufeli to do justice to the subject. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Great to have you.
Welcome to Enterprise Morning today.
Okay, so my thoughts is actually all over the place. But again, how can you best describe the opprobrium that we saw yesterday between the NLC and the Labour Party? I mean, why do you think the onslaught against Julius Abure, do you think this has any political undertone?
Well, it's just a battle of supremacy. Definitely, there must be a political undertone, of course. Politics in Nigeria affects everything, including
Right.
the food you eat. That is why you cannot have any meaningful conversation without looking at the political influence of price, costs, living, and the human condition. Homo politicus. Man is a political animal. Okay? So the influence of politics on what is happening, but then there is a battle for supremacy here. Julius Abure has been accused by NLC for not informing the NLC about the convention, the upcoming convention, and that he's a dictator. That he was at the NLC, he was with the NLC president 2-3 days ago, and have never mentioned anything about the fact that they're going to have a convention. And they accuse him of trying to use cronies to perpetrate and entrench himself so that he can continue as the chairman of the party for as long as possible, which they find very disconcerting. Then when you look at the flip side of it, you ask yourself whether picketing the Labour Party, the approach for which they use to ventilate their grievance, whether that approach was right in the context of law. They invaded the place. The NLC has, the Labour Party have tagged it that it was an illegal invasion of the premises, and they have destroyed properties. And as a result, that illegality, they must pay for that illegality. But the NLC have consistently pushed a narrative that even the courts have made pronouncements that the NLC own the Labour Party. You understand? You see, that narrative needs to be probed critically.
Exactly.
From what I know under the law, there are two separate institutions. An institution cannot own another institution except we are talking about a conglomerate. And that is talking about enterprise and companies. Okay, but in the case under reference, you have a political party, which is an association in the eyes of the law. Okay? And then you have, what do you call it now? You have a pressure group.
Right.
Okay? Which is also an association under the law. So the NLC have quoted that every country have a Labour Party wing. And that Labour Party wing is to project the ideals of labor and workers. Okay? But you ask yourself, you need to get the NLC constitution and then get the Labour Party constitution and find out whether one owned the other. I do not think so. What I think is that the Labour Party, is largely influenced by the support of workers. That when the chips are down, there should be a political party in the multi-party system that represents the interests of workers. That is what it is, even in the UK. A political party that leans towards workers in the political context. Because politics, as you see, the multi-party system, they are all private-run institutions. I mean, these political parties.
Yeah.
None is government-driven, except you have grabbed power at the center or at the state, where you now form a government through that political party. Otherwise, what you have are just separate entities. So it cannot be the law that the Labour Party, is owned by the NLC. That is contradiction. But that Labour Party is pro-workers. It leans towards the yearnings and aspirations of workers, civil servants across the country. That is what it is. It is not spelled out in law that they own. So what the NLC is trying to do is they are trying to address their grievances the wrong way. Of course, the allegation, this is not the first time Abuja has been accused of high-handedness. In fact, in one of the occasions when he was invited by the police and he refused to appear, when the police forcefully went to arrest him, Julius Abuja was found with a revolver pistol. He was found with a gun.
A licensed one.
How be it licensed or whatsoever, he was found with a gun. So there have been allegations all the while against him. Okay, but you can only concretize and substantiate these allegations by evidence and proof that truly they are trying to organize. You have to prove it. They have not proven anything. They just move themselves into the place.
Now,
and that is not how to go about it.
So, rightly put, you've just stated here that these are two different institutions that are independent of each other. But with the crisis we have currently, it's understandable to admit that a large block of the Labour Party is coming from the Nigerian Labour Congress. The question now is, how do we draw that fine divide such that an onlooker would not see a Labour Party as deeply infuriated by the Nigerian Labour Congress, so that in the future, when this onlooker sees the Labour Party, they are seeing something transparent and not being hoodwinked by...
It is the leadership that will define the brand, okay? If the leadership mismanage this opportunity to distance these two institutions, there'll be a problem. The problem we have here is Joe Ajiro, the leader of the NLC, and the Abure. Both of them are fixated in what we call partisan obscurantism.
And what does that mean, please?
Yeah, partisan obscurantism means you have a function to discharge. You have a job, a description to discharge in your line of office. And that of Abure is to ensure that he organizes the party, give you the projection, get it to win as much seat as possible, and lead it to a point where you can hand over successfully to another person who will project that formation. Now, Joe Ajiro's own is to lead the NLC to make sure that you negotiate the social contract between the people and the government, to ensure that workers get a fair play, to ensure that the welfare of workers is upscaled as through their normal protest, struggle, and to ensure that the government recognize the welfare and aspirations of workers. That is the two distinct operations of both of them. But now, two of them are fixated in politics. They have less. That's what they call influence, partisanship, partisan obscurantism. Even under the law, the NLC is not supposed to be involved in politics.
Exactly.
They're not supposed to be involved in politics. They are not even supposed to, but when you have that sickness, partisan obscurantism, where the Labour Party is now loyal to either the president or one politician or one senator or whatever, and is taking instruction from them, he has left the purview of his office. He will not be able to focus on the welfare of workers. We have seen how the NLC have deteriorated from when they say 7 days warning strike, the next thing, 12 midnight,
It's
they
called
will say,
off.
having considered, you understand? So workers cannot get the fair share.
Mm.
Then Abure himself, okay, who is supposed to consult widely. See, there is no politics without consultation.
Mm.
Politics is about far-reaching consultation. Who is supposed to consult widely is not doing that. He has also led the purview of his office. Okay?
Mm.
He's now been accused of one offense or the other. You understand? And if you go to the root of this, you'll find that what is happening is that politics have been mixed with everything. You mix politics with your job function, you get a dirty solution.
Mm.
So that is why they are fighting dirty.
Mm.
I mean, the followers who are only taking instruction from the leaders, today we are going to Labour Party's office to picket it. You have people that will follow you. If Abure stands up today now and said that today we are going to fight Lamida Papa, there are followers who will follow him to the place. You understand? So the problem the Labour Party have with the fashion, Lamida Papa's fashion and the Julius Abure have not been resolved.
Yet.
It's still lingering. Now the NLC have joined the fray.
Mm.
And this is a political party that the people are looking up to. The NLC even accused LP for not even carrying the obedience along in the said contest. So the Labour Party will have to look at its leadership structure and do, because it looks like APC and PDP is even well managed and organized than Labour Party. Now, Labour Party before now was well organized until money came.
At what point exactly?
During the time of Dan Iwanyanwu, he led the party. The party had one governor, Mimiko.
Yes.
And several members of the House, both the State House of Assembly across the country and the National Assembly. They had their members. Okay, so the party was projecting fine. Now he left it off, and Julius Abure and Julius Abure took over. Then, fortunately for them, there was a windfall. Peter Obi pulled out from PDP and went to Labour Party. And the prestige, the clout, and the following of Peter Obi increased the stature,
the value proposition of the party.
Of the party. Then the party could no longer manage it. It became too big for them to handle. A lot of people were donating, even people were donating money from abroad and everywhere.
Yeah.
And it became so difficult for them to even account for it. They are still to today, the hangover of that is not unconnected to what's going on with them right now.
Right.
So a lot of people want to go into Labour Party because it's like a party that have struck fortune. And you know the way Nigerian politicians, the way they behave, everything is about money. Money, money, and money.
Right. Thank you so much, Barrister. I love that you have put some clarity on whether the law underpins the NLC to play politics or not. I mean, that conversation was out there in the public, especially bringing about some level of apathy on the part of Nigerians. Each time they say NLC come out to strike, they just say, "Oh, leave them. They're just political players." Right. Again, you said something that I really liked about how the NLC is taking the wrong approach to this entire gamut of conversation. Can you tell us what you think the NLC should be driving at this time, or what the best approach should have been to bring some sort of sanity to
now
the
you see the Labour Party have accused NLC 90% of them are not members. Remember, you have to be a card carrying member, or you'll be a supporter, and you have to be a financial member. Okay? The LP, they are saying that the NLC, all those ones making the route and doing the whatever you call protest, are not even financial members. They are not card-carrying members. They are no financial members.
So they're just enthusiasts.
So, now, see what the Electoral Act says. If your party is taking a decision, okay, which you think is wrong, a member in the political party or a group in the political party can bring an action before the court to ask the court to restrain or impel them to act in a particular way. So if Julius Abure is not doing the right, is not consulting widely, is not doing what he's supposed to do, the people that have local standard to bring him to order and members, financial members, card-carrying members, okay, of the Labour Party.
So which means
That is why
is right all the time.
Well, Lamidi is a member. Yes, he can. Yes, they were in court all the while. Okay, as against NLC, there's a different entity coming to protest in the, that was gross trespass. Okay, you are not a part of the institution. The LP is only pro-labor. There is no joint ownership or joint registration as Sesame twins. No, there's nothing like that. Okay, so that is why the letter act says that when there is a primaries, okay, before now, anybody can just go to the INEC, apply for the document that was submitted by a politician, and then go to court and say this person is not qualified by law. But the 2020 Electoral Act now crush what we call local standard, reduce it only to participants, those who participated in the primaries and possibly were aggrieved by the outcome. Those are the only people that have local standard to go to court to ventilate. Last year, after the PDP primaries in my constituency, my federal constituency, I went to court because some delegates were deprived from voting. So we went to court on the basis that those delegates ought to have been allowed on the basis of fundamental rights.
Okay.
And we argue that the Electoral Act, where it provides that only people who contested can go to court, we argue that that is at variance with Section 46, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, which states that if there is any likelihood, okay, that your right is being, or likely to be breached, you can go to court to ventilate, to ask the court for redress. So because they were deprived from voting, those delegates, we felt that it was wrong and that the Electoral Act cannot override the Constitution. So we went to court on the basis of that. Now the court agreed with us on the basis of the fact that these people have a right to express, since we came under fundamental right, they have a right to so do. But the court crushed us out by saying that we brought the action 16 days after the election as against 14 days. And we argue further that the Sunday is not a juridical day by law, or Saturday. So we couldn't have filed on a Sunday. Okay, so we brought it on a Monday. So that if you calculate the time within which we filed, given the Sunday date and the Saturday date, we would have been under time to file within 14 days. 14 days is what we file on the 14th day and we're within time by law. Okay? So, but the court said no, that we're not within time. And we could not appeal because the sponsors of that case didn't want to further fund it. Because otherwise, we would have gone to appeal. So what I'm trying to say is that the right here, Lamidia Papa, NLC rather, does not have, there's no locus in the first place. Perhaps that's why they went there to protest. Otherwise, the right thing to do is to go to court. What they could have done is to influence some financial members and card-carrying members.
Very true. Now, this is really becoming very interesting. And the question I have is, though, for the want of time, I would have loved we dig more on this, but we just have to coast home. But before doing that, the Abure-led National Working Committee of the Labour Party had on Saturday accused Ajero of being desperate to replace Abure as national chairman. Could we say this is some form of a cul-de-sac?
Well, the National Working Committee led by Abure, this is accusation and counter-accusation. Okay? There is a way you will oppose me in my office. I will conclude that you want my job.
Even if it's not true.
That's exactly what is happening. There's no way it is written in his face or somewhere. Yeah. I mean, Joe Ajero's face or whatever. It's not written anywhere. Okay, but the truth is that the way Joe Ajero and their bully, the way they are going about it, they battle for supremacy. But the question you ask yourself, you see, that's why I like the court of law. The court is very disciplined. And the court does not care about what you are saying with your ignorance. The court will ask them to provide evidence that they have local standard to do what they are doing. And that will mean for them to evidence their membership of that party. 1, 2, the terms and conditions upon which you can become a member, they have to evidence it. Otherwise, that case will die at the level of preliminary objection. Interlocutory level it will go. Because what they are doing now is out of place. Completely out of place. You cannot come from outside. Even if Abuja is not doing the right thing, you cannot come from outside
to infiltrate,
to clean the place. It is those who are within the space that will decide whether or not it's doing the right thing. You see, on the issue of whether he should have informed Joe Ajero and the NLC team, it's a moral issue. Yes, and you can be in dereliction of your moral duties, and the law will not fault you.
Really?
Yes, but if it's a legal duty, that if I'm going through a pathway and a child is drowning in the river,
yes,
and I pass by, there's no legal.
Really?
No, I don't have any legal obligation.
Seriously?
Yes. Law did not say I must go and rescue the child, but morality and humanity say I must do that. That's the difference between law and morals. So he did not inform you. He was with you last night. He did not inform you that they are going to organize. He should have informed you as what, as member, or as what? Okay, now he should have done that. He didn't do that. It's a moral issue. You cannot take that moral issue to court. But what the court will ask you is, are you a member of the political party?
Very true. It's often said that too many cooks spoil the broth. And it's becoming a very funny situation. Don't you think so?
Well, I think that the egg is being, the pudding is being overegged. And then, something is coming to my mind. What's the future of the LP? Seeing a lot going on. LP is one party that some Nigerians have come to love.
Exactly.
And then we see them playing dirty, as it were. But my takeaway from the conversation would be that finally I now know that the NLC is not a scion of the Labour Party as I used to think before now. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on the show.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Evans, for being part of our show. And of course, that's just about the time we have for our conversation today. And I'd love to say thank you so very much for giving us your time every other day and being part of our show today. But please, while doing that, do well to visit our website at www.enterprisetv.com. Like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Igubike.
And I'm Chinere Igwe. Have a fantastic day.
All right, and on behalf of the entire team of Enterprise TV, thank you for watching. Bye-bye from me.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.